We don't understand though. It was dead on arrival. Now those state matter will still dey, my people. It was dead on arrival. My people, I said that those state matter now will still dey. It was dead on arrival. How? How? It was dead on arrival. But how? Liborous Oshoma don't come out, come tell us say that petition or in tribunal, the challenge of the Aswe Udaro versus Okpebolo, the executive governor of Edo State, that petition was dead on arrival. As I hear Liborous Oshoma, barrister Liborous Oshoma talk this matter, the thing shake me. I could not listen to her.
Mr. Oshoma, I mean, it becomes very worrisome and interesting for some of us where we see that it looks like politicians and their lawyers continue to, intentionally waste the time of the court and continue to make the same mistake. Please help us break this down, because in the first judgment of the tribunal, Adekunle Rufai Omaje, who filed the joint petition, had no local standard to institute this case, as his petition was not based on election-related matters. Among other points, the tribunal held that he did not participate in that governorship election. Is this an intentional effort to continue to frustrate the efforts of the courts?
I think what is happening here is the fact that you see, to encourage supporters. So even when parties know that they have no business at the tribunal, they still go to the tribunal. And then because there are no, actions and inactions, there must be consequences to actions and inactions in Nigeria. That's what what can deter, actions like this. I think there should be heavy punitive consequences against such political parties and parties.
What about
so
their
that
lawyers?
When you're approaching, that's also when there are punitive measures against the parties and their lawyers, certainly, because I agree with you, certainly that will deter people. And a situation where you know that you did not have a candidate in an election, and you know that the ground for filing election petition is that not that you are just a political party, but you must first almost have a candidate. You must have fed a candidate in that election. But in this case, you don't have a candidate. You didn't feed a candidate for the election, a pre-election matter. You approach the tribunal. And because the court had ruled that tribunal must take all matters and reserve judgment at the final stage to avoid preliminary appeals, then you see people bring frivolous matters and the tribunal having to, sit down patiently and deal with all of those matters and reserve judgment at the tail end or at the end of all of the petition. So it is, I think, what can deter such measures would be punitive measures for both the parties and their lawyers. Maybe punitive fine to be paid from their pocket, and then NBA can take up such matters. So I think that will deter a lot of people where you just dump documents on judges and expect them to read through the gamut of all of those documents. I saw that one as a very frivolous, rabble-rousing petition. And then secondly also, you find out that even when lawyers know that there is no merit in a petition, because they know they want to calm or assuage their teaming supporters that there is something in the offing. And so they still approach the tribunal and you hear them saying, oh yes, we have a case. Meanwhile, what they canvass on social media is completely different. It's at variance with the issues that they canvass in court. In court, they are asking for nullification of an election that the court should declare that the election be reconducted. But they go to social media to say, oh, look, we won that election and we're going to claim our mandate. And in some cases, like, in this case, you have 100 and something polling units where you are alleging discrepancies. And you call 19 witnesses. And of those 19 witnesses, maybe 11 are from polling units. Even if all of those 11 polling unit agents are able to prove irregularities, we talk about substantiality. Electoral Act talks about substantiality of irregularity. How substantial is 11 compared to 100 and something? So you now begin to ask yourself, because the court had ruled even in Obasanjo and INEC, so that even though like the Supreme Court ruled in that case, that the irregularities were proved in Ogun State, but it wasn't substantial enough to affect the overall outcome of the election. So in this case, all of these precedents are already laid down. But because politicians will want to, give an impression to their supporters that, they have a case, and then lawyers also want to make money, they just approach the tribunal, knowing fully, they give hope, and then knowing fully well that, there is no meat in it. So some of us saw these things and we were called names that, look, there's nothing in this petition and it's dead on arrival. But we're called names. Anyway, they said they are proceeding to Court of Appeal.
So, Mr. Oshoma, even with the PDP, and I want to have your broader perspective on this, because expectedly, we all thought PDP should know better. And also because I had a conversation with Aso Godalo, who, convincingly, without any doubts, convinced me that he had enough evidence to strike out the case or to win or reclaim his mandate, so to speak. What could have gone wrong?
Well, Aso is a very senior lawyer, and he knows. But I would not want to, at this stage, I'll probably say he probably is wearing the toga of a politician at that instance, and then maybe he's been encouraged, and then they have told themselves that they have, a gamut of evidence. But the question you will ask yourself is, the court also had consistently ruled on the issue of dumping of materials. When you allege overvoting, you must also speak to the document that you have tendered. And so that is why I do not fight petitions. No matter how much you are paying me, I will tell you that, except you want to waste your money, we will lose, because the time for proving irregularity is not enough, except there is a very technical and moot point that the court will have to take, maybe on issue of, qualification. Let's say the court, the Constitution talks about the basic requirement, which is school certificate. And maybe the person tendered a school certificate that had been held to be forged and fake, and you have overwhelming evidence to that effect, and there is a court judgment to that effect. On that ground, it becomes very easy. You're not even talking about irregularities now, but competent qualification. But you find out a situation where you now begin to talk about proving irregularity. The last case that was nullified by the court on grounds of irregularity was before the 180 days rule. That was, I think, was it Peter Obi's case? And it took the court almost 3 years before that judgment was delivered. The Oshomole's case took the court a year and a half before the judgment was delivered in that matter. As for the Bayelsa case, it was on the ground of qualification and not irregularities. So when you look at all of these things and you know fully well that the time for proving irregularity is very, very short, you see lawyers still, go ahead trying to pass, a wall that, is insurmountable. You're talking about irregularity, and then you're talking about overvoting. The court had talked about the beavers machine, examination of the beavers machine. And then the last hurdle is the fact that the presumption of regularity is consistently in favor of INEC. Once results are announced by INEC, they are presumed regular. And so it is now you who is alleging irregularity, who is alleging that the results are not regular. The onus is now on you to prove that they are not, the result is not regular. It is not on the man who conducted the election. So that note should be well taken for people who are saying, the judgment had been procured. No. The law, the position of the law, unlike where you say he who has sat must prove. In this case now, he who has sat irregularity is the person that will prove irregularity. So because the law already presumed everything was done properly.
APC and the governor. So there is a judgment of the court party against APC and the governor.
The AGF protects this.
Then why today also is the judgment of PDP, the Aso Godalo against APC and PDP and the governor. When in the area of the petition, where we are happy that all the three petitions we won all. We have come to appreciate the people of Edo State. We have come to appreciate the governor. We have come to appreciate the APC family for their resilience. They were with us and they never slacked at any time.
Thank you, APC. Your reaction, your reaction. Your reaction, sir.
Judiciary has once again demonstrated its capacity to deliver justice. We are happy. The tribunal has dismissed petition of the PDP as lacking merit. In fact, the tribunal said they didn't have any evidence. The tribunal said they did not prove their case. And we were sure from the very beginning that Governor Monday Okpewolo won the election in Edo State and that Edo people gave him the mandate. And he has not disappointed Edo people. This is victory for Edo people. This is victory for democracy. And we have confidence in the judiciary in delivering justice. We are so excited, and Edo people are very excited.
Judiciary is a hope of the common man. I want to thank God Almighty that made this possible. We also want to thank the good people of Edo who voted for us. This is not a news to us because Edo people have spoken before. The court has just reaffirmed what Edo people voted for. So we want to thank God, we want to thank the people of Edo. And I also want to congratulate my principal, the executive governor of Edo State, Distinguished Senator Monday Okpewolo. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Well, the judgment is given is victory for democracy, is victory for the great people of Edo State, because it's not a victory for Monday Okpewolo, it's victory for Edo State because Monday Okpewolo is the governor of Edo State. He was elected by Edo people. And we are using this opportunity to call on everybody in the state to come together at this point so that we can move the state forward. There are a lot of things, a lot of challenges in the state. We are calling on everybody because this is victory for everybody in the entire state for them to come together so that we can move the state forward. Thank you.
Name, sir?
My name is Jared Tinubu, the best chairman, APC, Edo State.
Let me start with a very fundamental. Which strikes at the very root of the administration of justice itself in Nigeria. I'm sure you must have heard yesterday when the airwaves were quite right on rumors about legal judgments. Now, that was why I'm actually granting this interview. Because I came here and I would have been surprised if what the rumors turned out to be true. It's unfortunate that when you read those so-called leaked judgments, they were written by lawyers. So it appears that there are lawyers who are out there to tear down the judiciary. If we destroy our judiciary, then we have nothing. Not just in election matters, but generally. If we question the credibility of the judiciary and hear it now, then the country is actually finished. Now, with respect to the judgments delivered had absolutely nothing, no semblance whatsoever with all the documents that were circulating yesterday. So it is really kudos to the judiciary, number one, and then especially congratulations to the learned judges of the tribunal. There are 3 stages of the process. This is only the first stage, but we are quite happy on behalf of our clients, the governor, that at least we have a nice victorious at this stage.
Thank you very much.
When I hear the way Liborous Oshoma take break am, although not be my duty to agree or disagree, no say these people now they know how the law they work past us. This one is my own barrister. If they talk like this, in fact, I don't believe on them. But his own opinionism is for him. My own opinionism is for me. The truth of the matter is, when things they affect us for Nigeria, many of us always pretentiously ignore it, especially when the things is not affecting you directly. Not knowing that anything that is affecting anybody in Nigeria, we should always stand up for that particular person or body. Because if not, whether you like it or not, the whole thing will certainly still come and affect you somehow, someday, directly or indirectly. Why am I saying all this? In 2023 general election, or rather presidential election, everything they do to Peter Obi, many of the elites that is crying today, for example, in Edo State, Aso Ighodaro, they cry now, say they ring them out, they do this, petition. Exactly what is happening right now. Not be happen for Peter Obi. We go tribunal, they slap us. We go Supreme Court, they pour hot water for our body. Not be what happen. But that time, my question is, did Aswen talk that time? I don't get anything against Aswen. I'm just asking. Did Obaseki talk that time? Say, no, as executive governor, this is wrong. Even though not the same party would do, this is very wrong. He talked that time. Aswen talked that time. Because he don't concern them, na Peter Obi and a Labour Party. But that thing is not concerned that time. He don't come concern you now, Abi. He said the petition was dead on arrival. Just like that. Then what's your take? Do you think that the petition was dead on arrival? Or do you also think that the judiciary in Nigeria was dead on arrival? Or do you think our government and all of them, all the ballot, all of them, was dead on arrival? Put it on the comment section. This is NAIJA Watch Media. Join us every day, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Let's talk about the things that's affecting you and I. Let's continue to pour out our plight. All this wuru they had ourselves, so they do why you everywhere. So try they affect all of us. So it don't concern me, it don't concern me, it go concern me, it don't concern me, it go concern me. We are not going anywhere. When they read Peter Obi come out that time, many of them are not talking. It don't concern me, it don't concern me. Now, it don't affect you now, right? It was dead on arrival. Bye for now.